Hey, this is yet another video session where I'm actually going to speak about functions, the use of functions, and what you can do with functions and why do we basically need functions. I think this is the third video in the video series of a revision to Java programming using BlueJ. And the first two videos, I guess you must have already watched about how do we pass inputs to a program from the command line. That's the first video. The second video is about like use of scanner classes. So this video we will be making use of a little bit of input using scanner classes. So I would recommend you to actually watch the second video in the series before getting started with this. And this video is going to be a little lengthy one, around like 30 to 45 minutes a max. So let's get started with writing functions. What basically are functions? I don't have to actually go about like explaining what are functions. So I'll just get started quickly about like writing a small program where we will just call a function to print some message, and then we'll actually move on to writing some more meaningful programs where like functions can be used in a better way. So I've just created a class called my functions. So here I have to create a class my functions, and okay, here in this I have to create a main function, public static void main, and remember I don't have to put anything inside this main here, inside the bracket this main here, because I'm not going to pass any command line arguments. What I'm going to do is like say I'm actually writing a simple output statement, system dot okay, it's like say good evening. That's it. My program is not doing anything but just trying to print a message called good evening using the normal system.out.println, which is embedded in the main. This is called as main, or simply called as a main function. Anything which is embedded between an open bracket and a closed bracket and has a name on top of it. Say I would call this like this line, which is highlighted in yellow color, is called as a function signature, or simply the name of the function. What is the name of this function? It's called a main. So this class basically contains only one function, which is default, the main function, which I've compiled, closed, and just try to call the main function from here. See, good evening is printed twice. That's because it's printing the output from the previous run of the program. Let me actually again call the main function here. You would see good evening being printed just once. Now, as a program actually gets bigger and bigger, what happens is this main might actually look very lengthy and messy. You want to actually keep the code a little organized, right? Okay, for example, I can just, cut this out. I don't want this as well, and put it in a separate block over here. But I'll open the block and close the block over here. Now, anything which is within these two blocks, or which is within this open and closed brackets, is now actually a function block. So I would write the function signature something like this. Say greetings. Okay, I'll explain what exactly is void. Now what happens is, just remember, this thing is a name what I'm actually giving. I can give any name for this. It can be greetings, it can be wish, or I can actually say it like void wish, void hello. I can use any name, but I'm just using greetings to be a meaningful name out here. So what would I do here is like I have to actually create an object of type my functions. So I create an object over here using my functions. Obj is equal to my functions. Okay, my functions are. Alright, now what do we do now? We just use obj dot greetings. Alright, now see, that's what happened. I've not done anything. I've just removed the system.out.println, which was over here in the previous just a few minutes ago, and put it here and embed it in a separate block, and I've named that block as greetings. And I always like to keep this void. This is like a must. It's kept as void. I'll tell you later what happens when it is not kept as void, as we move on to more meaningful programs using functions. So let me double check and hope it's recording. Oops, I don't know. Oh yeah, it's recording. I just want to double check it. Okay, fine. Now, what happens is, what am I doing here? I've created an object. This is not new to you. Hope all of you know why you're creating objects. I don't like to get back to the basics of classes and objects in this video. So we just have obj.greetings. What do? I use the object name followed by a dot operator followed by the name of the function. Now what happens when the control of the program actually comes into this line, this step? It will directly branch to this line. The control of the program will shift from greetings. It will say, where is greetings? Oh, here it is. Let me go inside that function and show you what exactly it's doing. Good evening. Alright. Compile it. Where it says expected. Oh yeah, here. Oh no, not there. Not there. Here. It says a semicolon is expected. Compile it. Cannot find symbol my functions. What? Why is it? F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N-S. F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N-S. Why is that? Oh yeah, syntax error. I get it. It has to be new my functions. Compile? Yes. I actually made a syntax error over here. Close it. Now let me actually call the main. Good evening. Let me clear it. Close it. Let me call the main function. Remember, I am not calling my functions over here. I'm just calling the main function. See what's happening. Good evening is being called. Let me actually show you in another way. What I would like to do is I would like to put a breakpoint over here. Class tools. Go to line, set or clear breakpoint. Alright. Not here. I'd like to put a breakpoint over here. Cannot set breakpoint in the code over there. Okay. Alright. Let me actually set a breakpoint over here. How do I do that? Tools. Set clear breakpoint over here. Why is that? Tools. No breakpoint. I can set it here, I guess. Tools. Set breakpoint. Yeah, see. Now, what is this red dot over here is like when the program is executing, when the control actually comes to this step, it stops for a while and it doesn't continue until I control the execution. Let me put another breakpoint at this point. Alright. Go to tools. Set breakpoint. Yes. I've actually put two breakpoints over here to show you what exactly happens. The program starts from here. It starts executing from this line. It comes inside the open bracket. Then it comes inside this white box. This is getting executed. A new object is created. And immediately what happens is, say, it actually comes to execute this step. Let me actually put another line over here. System.out.println. This is the last line of the program. Alright, this is the last line of the program. Now I want to set a breakpoint over here. Tools. Where are the breakpoints? Okay, I've just compiled it. No syntax errors. And hope I can actually set the breakpoints. Now all I want to show you is, first, when this line is getting executed, the control of the program will jump here. It's going to come here, finish this, and after finishing this, it's again going to come back to the next line after this. It's going to come back here, not execute it once again, but move on to the next line. So I have to show it to you by putting a breakpoint over here and putting a breakpoint over here. So first, I've kept my cursor over here. Let me put a breakpoint over there. Set a breakpoint. Let me keep my cursor over here. And let me actually set another breakpoint. Now let's close it. Now let's call the main function. See here. When we are calling a main function, can you actually see an arrow mark over here? The arrow mark says, see, I'm stopping here. It's not executing. It's waiting for me to execute. Unless I actually click on the button step, the next step will not be executed. So you might be thinking like the control might come to the next line. No, not exactly. You can see obj.greetings. The control is going to go over here. The compiler would automatically look out where in the program this greetings has been defined. This is where I've defined a function called as function definition. So it would automatically go there. And now I would just say step into. See, you can see this now. It's come here. It's come inside this, and since I put a breakpoint over here, the arrow which was previously in this top has now come here. So the control of the program shifted from here to here instead of going down. Now it's going to print good evening. Step into. See, it printed good evening. Step into. Step into. This is the last line of the program. Did you see that? This is the last line of the program. Continue. It finished executing. See, main finished. Terminate this. Let me actually open the program, compile it, close it, open editor. Okay, close this thing, call the main function. Now see, the program actually started to continue executing from here, from main. Came inside this, it came here, created an object, and then it stopped here because I put a breakpoint. I'm asking the program to stop there. Wait, let me actually come and explain what's happening. And now you can see the arrow mark pointing over here, which says, I want to call the functions. And as soon as you call a function, as soon as you get inside the function, I've actually made the program stop here by putting a red dot over there called as a breakpoint. And now I would say step into. See, it comes to this step. Here it goes. Here it goes. Let me see what's printed in the terminal. The terminal, clear this. Now see, there's nothing. Once I finish executing that step, now I've cleared the terminal, nothing is printed out here. Once I say step into, it's going to execute this step. It's still waiting, it's still hanging in there, not yet printed. Step into. Now let's go check the editor. See, good evening is printed because it is exited from that line. Now you can see the arrow mark pointing down. I think this is clear. I'll just minimize it. Now can you see the arrow mark pointing at this bracket? That's the end of the function block. Once it encounters that arrow, the closed brackets, when you say step into, it's going to come back to the next line. It's going to come back to the next line after this function. Now, when I say step into this, and I go and show you the editor, see, this is the last line of the program. Hope this is very clear. And say step into, they say main is finished. Terminate this, close this, open this. I'm going to remove the breakpoints and just do a quick run of this. Call the main function quickly. See what's happening. Terminal window. Let me clear it. Let me close it. Call the main function again. See, good evening, and this is the last line of the program. Hope this was actually clear. It was a very good understanding for you, like what happens during a function call and what happens after the function block is getting executed, how the program flow continues. So let's actually see something extra in the same program. Let me open the program. Let me actually make it meaningful. Now it's just printing good evening. Now what if you can actually make it print what you want? This message, instead of just printing what is given here, what if you actually want to print, whatever you want to actually pass it there? See this bracket? I can pass anything. I can say print hello world. Now this hello world, what do you think is a type? Or let me actually come back, like say I'll pass a message. I want to pass a message. What is this message? This message is string. Alright, this message is of the type string. Now this message I decided as hello world. As simple as that. Now this message actually is passed as a parcel, or it's also called as an argument. This example is all about like passing arguments to functions. And mind you, what are we going to do here is like, what is the type of this message? String. So I'll put it as string here. I can accept it as message here, right? I take the message over here, and what I do here, is like I just print the message. That's it. Earlier you had enclosed some data over here within double quotes, and so the program was just printing whatever was there inside double quotes. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take control of my program. I want to decide in the main. Main, I am the boss. I decide what exactly you, the function greetings, the piece of dummy over there, you don't have to decide what you have to print. I decide what you have to print. So I send you the message. Now you print the message. Got it? I hope you got the message. Alright. So compile this, all syntax errors, and I am like closing the program and running the main. Hello world. This is the last line of the program. Now did you see? Hello world actually is getting printed. Let's make it more interesting. Let's make the program more interesting. Instead of actually deciding the message over here, let's actually create a scanner class and ask the user to actually input, his name. Alright. User to input the name. So I would actually say string name. So we have to create a scanner class. This is where I would say like you have to go back and watch the video number 2 in my series, which is about like accepting user input using scanner classes. It's a very short 15 to 20 minutes video which explains the basics about like how to use scanner classes to make the program more interactive, that the user will be allowed to enter the input during the runtime of the program. Now let's see. String, oh no, not string, it's not system, we have to use scanner classes. Okay. Scanner input, which is scanner object, which is equal to new scanner of system.in. And remember, when we're using scanner classes, we have to import it. Import java.util.scanner. I guess that's right. We have to import java.util.scanner. And once we have created the scanner class, we have to store the input. So name is equal to, first we have to prompt the user to enter the name. Okay, system.out.println, enter your first name, which we are actually going to store it here. IP dot what next? Yes. So now I'm actually passing my name here. So what did I do? I declared a string by the name. I declared a variable whose type actually is string. I declared a variable of type string, and now I created a scanner class, a scanner object by the name IP, and now I'm prompting the user to input his name or her name. And then what happens is like I accept the input and store it in the variable called name, and then I'm actually passing that name over here to this function. Now this would print hello followed by my name. So compile this. Cannot find a simple name. Name. Compile it. Fine. Close it. Now I'm just calling the main function. See? Enter your first name. Run on. Okay. This is the last line of the program. Fine. Let me clear everything out. Close it. Let me go to this. I have to remove this. Enter your first name. Alright. Enter your first name. I don't need this anymore. Okay, let it be here. No harm. Let's compile it. Close it. Call the main function. See, I'm not calling my functions. I'm just calling the main function, which is the starting point of entry into the program. Enter your first name. Cool. My first name. What would I say? Is Mr. Spark. Oh no, it has to be without spaces. The first name. Spock. Hello Spock. This is the last line of the program. Cool. So we actually learn how to pass a message to a function. Previously we just knew how to call the function, and next time we actually learned how to pass message to a function. Now you might be wondering, like, is it like only one thing which I can pass here? Can I actually pass something else over here? Alright, let me actually prompt the user to enter his age, name followed by age. So age is of type int. Int age. Now enter your first name followed by copy. Say we would allow the user to enter your age. Enter your age. Alright, but here it has to be next int. It has to be age over here. Now when I call my function, I am actually passing name and age. Age is of type integer, so I have to separate another thing by age. Now we are actually writing another function, which accepts two arguments. This is the argument number 1. This is the argument number 2. Now what do? We do some kind of a funny thing over here. If the user's age is above 18, we print a message like, well, you're an adult. If the age is less than 18, then we are making the program to print a funny message saying that, oh no, you're a kiddo. Okay, so if age is greater than 18, you're gonna print, like, I'm lazy. I'm gonna copy this. Oh, welcome. You are an adult. Alright. Else. Oh, you grow up, kiddo. Control C. We are going to print. Okay. Grow up, kiddo. Grow up, kiddo. Okay. So we are asking the user to input his name first. This is where the scanner class actually is getting to work, and after that we allow the user to enter the age. Then I'm passing two arguments over here. Mind you, you can pass as many number of arguments you want as long as they are separated by a comma. And whatever is a type of the argument over here, if it is of type integer, age is of type integer, you have to make sure this here is of type integer as well. Let's compile this. No syntax errors. Just have a look at the program once. The main, what it's doing, I'm asking the user to actually input the name, storing it in the variable called name of type string, and then I'm using the scanner classes. I'm asking the user to actually input the age. I'm storing the age. Remember, it's going to be next int. I'm storing the age, which is of type integer again, and then I'm calling the function and I'm passing two arguments. I'm passing two different kinds of data to the function over here. One is of type one is of type string, other one is of type integer. The first argument, this is called as the argument to the function. The first one is actually of the type string. The second one is of the type integer, and they're well matched over here. If you make a mistake in this, it's going to throw a compile time error. And I'm just doing a small logic check over here. If the age actually is greater than 18, first it's going to greet me and then say, if I'm greater than 18, if my age is greater than 18, it's going to actually say, well, you are an adult. Else, it's just going to say, grow up, kiddo. It's kind of like a harsh message, but I don't intend to actually hurt those people who are, like below 18. Okay, let's actually make it more subtle. Oh, you're a sweet kid. Oh, you are a sweet kid. This actually is more, like encouraging. Compile. No syntax errors. Close. Let me run the program by calling the main function. Enter your first name. First name is Ted. Enter your age. I'm a 12-year-old kid. Hello, Ted. Oh, you're a sweet kid. And this is the last line of the program. Cool. So, did you see what happened here? We were able to pass two different arguments. Two different arguments here. Hope This was clear. We can pass any number of arguments. And mind you, I would like to say one more thing. Since I've used the variables called name and age, there's no hard and fast rule. You have to use the same name over here, and you have to use the same variable name over here. I can just use n. I can just use a. It works perfectly fine. There is no rule that the variable names over here and over here has to be matched. It can be anything because they are completely independent blocks. However, if I use n over here, I have to ensure I use n over here, and I have to ensure that I've used a throughout this block. See, no compile time errors. So I would just make it name, and I would make it age. It's more meaningful. Age. Alright, I would have to make it name. So this is clear. This should be clear. This is the last line of the program. So what else shall we do with the function? Like, how about actually adding another function? How about adding another function? Can a function actually call another function? Yes. We actually were trying to call a function by the name greetings from the main. What about we adding another function over here? Say void entry to permission. Say for example, we need permission to watch a movie. Sometimes the movie says it requires a parental guidance. If you're like under 13 years of age, then you cannot watch the movie. So let's assume that this is a program which is controlling whether you can actually watch a movie or not based on the age what you enter. It's just like, like an example study. Void permission. Let me actually write this up. Fine. So what happens is, if age, instead of printing some message over here, okay, I would cut this and put it here. Alright? If age is greater than permission granted. Permission granted. Welcome. You're an adult. You can watch. Okay, welcome. You are free to watch the video. Well, void permission denied. Void permission denied. Okay, here I would like to put some messages. Sorry. Okay, a message, something turning like sorry. You access denied due to age restriction. Okay, you must have seen many movies actually being played in many of the satellite channels like the Star movies and HBO and all those things, where during the beginning of the movie they would actually say like it's parental guidance 13 or 12 or 15. Like if you are under the age of what they say, this video is not recommended for you. So what am I trying to do here is like if age is greater than, say, let's keep it as 13, it's a horror movie, and if the age is greater than 13, I would call the function, say, permission granted. Cool. I'm calling this function called permission granted. Else I'm going to remove this and say I'm going to call the function permission denied. Permission granted, else permission denied. And mind you, if you observe carefully, how am I able to call the functions over here? If I am calling another function, say this is function 1, say this is function 2, and this is function 3. I'm just putting up a comment here. Function 3. I'm actually trying to call function 1 and function 2 from function 3, which is by the name greetings. I'm not using an object followed by a dot operator. If I'm actually calling another function from an already user-defined function, only if I'm calling a function from the main, I would actually need this object dot function name syntax. If you observe carefully, greetings is also a function which I defined some time back, But if I'm actually supposed to invoke or call this function by the name greetings, I am actually supposed to use this syntax. Object, which I've created here. Where is my object? Where is the object what I've created here? Yeah, my functions object. I've actually created an object over here. I have to use that object name followed by a dot operator followed by, the functions or the function name to invoke this function. Observe over here. But from this function 3, I'm trying to actually call two other functions. One function by the name permission granted, another function by the name permission denied, based on the condition check over here. If age is greater than 13, permission granted, yes. If your age is less than 13, then permission denied. This function is going to get called. What would happen when this function is called here? The control would go here, permission granted. It would print, welcome, you're free to watch the video. If the age actually is going to be less than 13, if this condition fails, then it's going to call this function, permission denied. See? Sorry, access denied due to age restriction. Let's compile it. No syntax errors. Close. My functions. Oh. Fine. Close it. Let's go here. Call the main. Enter your first name. Say, my first name is Ted. Enter your age, 12. Hello Ted. Sorry, access denied due to age restriction. And this is the last line of the program, which is actually a part of the previous main program. Okay. Let's clear it up. Let's close it as well. And now let's go back to the program. Oh no. Let's read on this by entering a different age. Call the main function. I am, like Ted's brother. Like my name is Med. I'm Ted's brother Med. I'm definitely older than my younger brother Ted. Enter your age. I'm 15. Hello Med. Welcome. You're free to watch the video. This is the last line of the program. So from where exactly the messages are getting printed. So I don't have to explain too much about this. Clear this up. Close it. Go back to the program and see what else we can do. I don't need this anymore because I've demonstrated how you can call multiple functions from being inside a function as well. So I would like to get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. Now let's actually modify the program to see why this always has to be void. Why does it has to be void? Void basically says like after finishing the execution of this program. After finishing the execution of this program, what am I returning back to the main? This function actually is called from main, so it would obviously return back to the next line. From where is it being called? It's being called here. What would it return back? It's not returning anything. That's the reason it's void. What if this function is returning something, some message to the kid? Say for example, after greeting, I want to return a message for that kid. String message. And I would say return message. When I say return message, when this function ends, which basically happens when it hits the return statement over here. Previously this function used to end when the control was, hitting this point. Yes, you can see this point where I'm actually shaking the cursor. Yes. The function would return back from the point where it started or from the point where it was called if it actually encounters a closing bracket or a closed bracket. But now this behaves slightly different. As soon as it encounters a return statement, it would want to go back from where it actually came from. The function call came from this point. You would like to go back. Since I'm returning a message, I want to actually store something in the message. You are very sweet. You are a sweet person. You're a sweet person. Alright? Now, if it is returning something, this is where I'm calling the function, right? I have to hold I have to store what the function returns. I'm calling the function, but the function is returning something here. So if it's returning something here, it cannot be void. What is it trying to return? It's trying to return something of type. What is the type of message? Message is of type string. And we're initializing that string to "you're a sweet person." This message is of type string, so it's no longer void. String. I'm returning string. Basically, this here will depend upon what is the type of this. This is of type string, therefore string over here. So I'm actually storing back what was supposed to be returned, message. Okay, this is the last line of the program. And let me also print the message. The message for you, the message for you is, let me print the message. Okay, I'm printing the message over here, what was returned from the function. Very simple program. Previously you saw void. What exactly void means is you're not returning anything. If you're returning something, yes, this is going to be, whatever you're trying to return, the type or the function signature, what has to come over here, the return type has to match this data over here. This data is of type string. I'm holding it back. This is where the point from where I'm calling the function. I'm holding it back over here in another variable which is of type message. I have to declare it here. Alright, and I'm just printing it. Let me actually, I could have just deleted this line over here. Fine. Just compile it. No syntax errors. Close it. Okay. Close it. Call the main function. Enter your first name, Ted. Enter your age, 12. Hello Ted. This message for you is, you're a sweet person. Cool. Now we try to actually return a message back to the main function where it was of type string. Now let's actually try to modify the program where we ask the user, or we don't ask the user now, we just initialize two data values to two variables within the main function, and we then try to give some data to it, initializing it, and then try to add them up using functions. Now we say instead of greetings, it's now, initially we keep it void because we don't know what we're going to return. This function is called add. So I need two integers, int a, int b. I don't need a message. I don't know what I'm going to return. I'm probably going to return the sum. I need something here as local variable called int sum is equal to 0. I don't want to print anything here. I just want to say sum is equal to a plus b. That's it. Sum is equal to a plus b. And then what am I going to do here is, I don't need all this here. I don't need a scanner class. I don't need anything over here. I just have to declare two variables of, say, number 1 and number 2, or say num1 and num2, num1 and num2. I would say num1 is, say, 100. I would say num2 is equal to 200. Now what would happen? Well, let me actually put this line of creating the object in the very beginning. Let's say, oh, what happened? What the hell happened? Why did this thing come here? Control Z, Control Z. Okay, let me cut this. Okay, paste it here. Oh, I wanted this line to come here in the first line of the program where I'm creating an object. And then what would I do? I don't want to print any message. I want to add the two numbers. Now what is the name of my function? Add. So I would say obj.add. I need to pass num1, num2. Clear? I need to actually pass number 1 and number 2, the two numbers over here which is initialized to 100 and 200. Now, what would happen in that case? After doing this, what do? I would like to add two numbers over here. So I would definitely like to return the sum. But what is the type of sum? Sum is of type integer. So definitely I have to change this to integer. Now what happens is I have to get the sum over here. So I would say sum is equal to, and system.out.print, I would make it here as sum, the sum of two numbers. You see, you got the answer here. Suppose I would like to write another function where I would like to find the product of two numbers here. Instead of add, I would say multiply two numbers. I would say product. I would say product is equal to A star B. Return product. Alright, this must be clear to you. I've declared a function. I've actually defined a function by the name multiplier and passing two arguments to it and declaring a local variable called product, multiplying the two numbers which actually comes in as the argument of the function and stored in a local variable called prod and returning the product. Mind you, prod is of type integer, so this has to be of type integer. If you're returning a float, it has to be of type float. So now what I would do is I would like to create something called prod over here. Product is equal to obj dot multiply num1 and num2. As simple as that. Now let's actually print the product of two numbers here. The product of two numbers is, I have to change this to product. So just quickly reviewing what we did, we just created a class by the name myFunctions, and that class is ending over here, and the main functions inside the class. In the main, I just try to create an object of type myFunctions, and then I declared local variables of num1, num2, sum and product. I've initialized a local variable num1 to 100 and num2 to 200. So let's make it to 300 over here, 300 and 200. And now observe carefully, I'm trying to call the function object.add. Only if you try to call the function from the main, that is when it has to be followed by the syntax like object name followed by the function name and the arguments. If you're actually trying to call a function from already being inside a function, like what I showed you probably say 5 minutes ago in this video, you don't have to use this object followed by dot notation. Now the control would go here, but after computing the sum, I'm trying to return back the sum. Whatever is the data which I'm trying to return back from here has to match this signature of the function over here. If you're not returning anything, this can be void. The yellow highlight, which is int over here, can be void. What I showed you in the previous program, where we're just trying to display some greeting messages to the user, like you're a sweet person, or access denied due to age restriction, all those kind of messages. We're not actually returning anything back to the user in a previous, like say 5 or 6 minutes ago in the video. But now we are returning some data after computation inside a function. Now we're having two different functions, and I'm calling two different functions over here using the same object. Mind you, I'm not creating a new object. I'm using the same object. I can use the same object to call how many ever functions, how many ever times I need. So I guess here this system.out.println is just going to print the sum, and this is going to print the product of two numbers. The sum of 300 and 200 has to be 500, and the product has to be 60,000, I guess. Okay, close this. I guess it's compiled. No syntax errors. No syntax errors. Yes, close it, and I'm calling a main function. Where is the editor? It's here. Oh yeah, see, the sum of two numbers is 500 and the product of two numbers is 60,000. So this is all about like quickly revising functions, like how do you actually call one function from the main where the return type of the function is void, it's not returning anything, and then how did you actually call two other functions from being within another function without using the object dot function name syntax. Just using the function name, you were able to call two other functions, and then we actually try to do functions returning something. Functions returning a string, functions returning integer, and calling two functions of different names. One is of the name mul, one is of the name add. Basically, this mul function is a multiplier which takes in two numbers, passes in from the main, multiplying them up and returning it back. When it returns back, it comes here. If you're calling sum, it comes back here. Whatever it returns, the sum is going to get stored over here. And whatever it returns after multiplying, the product, that actually is going to get stored over here. Alright, and then we're trying to print it. So I will just slowly go through the program once again. I'm not going to explain it, just scrolling it down slowly for you to actually see it. I'll try to like squeeze everything in to fit into a single page, but that's not going to happen in all the cases. Well, let's try to do the best. Alright, that's it for now. So with these three videos, must actually get your hands warmed up to program. If your hands are rusty or if your minds are lazy, so get started by writing the programs. That's the best way to learn. Revise and get your doubts cleared. See the program executing for yourself. There's nothing a greater feeling than that. Let me pause the video. Alright, that's it for now. Goodbye. See you in the next video.